Just as it is necessary to guard the mind from ignorance, so too must we guard it from excessive, vain, or curious knowledge. When the mind is filled with unnecessary, futile, and even harmful information, it becomes incapable of discerning what is good for our correction and perfection. Thus, toward earthly matters that are permissible but unnecessary, you must act as if you are already dead. Focus your mind inward and keep it far from the distractions of this world. Let stories about past events and news of current happenings pass by you without engagement. The allure of foreign lands and distant places should be to you as though they do not exist. Even if you hear of such things, strive to forget them as quickly as possible. St. Basil says, "Let the hearing of worldly news be bitter food to you, and let the teachings of spiritual men be sweet as honey." Similarly, the prophet David declares, "The transgressors spoke idle words to me, but they are not like your law." Love to hear and study spiritual teachings. Seek to know only Jesus Christ and Him crucified, His life, His death, and what He desires of you. If you abide by this, you will please God, for He loves those souls that love Him and strive to fulfill His will. The pursuit of many worldly things is often born of pride and serves as nourishment for self-love. These are traps of the evil one, who, seeing that some are strongly inclined towards spiritual life, seeks to ensnare their minds and wills through curiosity. He introduces lofty and seemingly marvelous ideas, especially to those who are intelligent and inclined to philosophize. These individuals, captivated by the pleasure of discussing such elevated topics, neglect to guard the purity of their hearts, to think humbly of themselves, and to overcome their passions. Bound by the chains of pride and self-reliance, they turn their minds into idols and gradually come to believe, without even realizing it, that they no longer need advice from others. In every matter, they defer only to the idol of their own reasoning. This is a very dangerous and difficult to cure condition. Pride of the mind is worse than pride of the will. The mind can still correct the pride of the will, but when the mind arrogantly believes its own thoughts to be the highest truth, who can convince it otherwise? How can it listen to anyone when it is convinced that its reasoning surpasses all others? If the eye of the soul, the mind, becomes blinded by pride, the will is left with no guide to correct its own prideful inclinations. And when both the mind and the will are disordered, the person is left in utter ruin, with no one to apply healing balm. Therefore, it is essential to wage war against pride of the mind before it takes root. Rise up against it, restrain it, and humbly submit your reasoning to the counsel of your spiritual Father. Be humble out of love for God, if you desire to be wiser than Solomon. As St. Paul says, "If anyone among you thinks that he is wise in this age, let him become a fool, so that he may become wise."